Hi guys, welcome back to Retrospect. Today's video is an abstract speed paint doodle. I'm just using some comic book pieces that I cut up. They're not valuable comic books. It's this weird Batman comic book that I guess Zellers in Canada sponsored because they're in the Toronto Public Library and then they go to Zellers to get some cool clothes to blend in, and then the Joker shows up and oh no! So it's kind of a funny comic book. Needless to say, I didn't think it was that important, so I've used it in my collage here. There's not really a lot of planning that goes into these little sketchbook doodles. Honestly, I just sort of figure it out as I go, and they don't always work out. But this one, I think I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So I'm just going over with paint, and then I'm adding some pen, and right now I'm using some golden high fluid acrylics in shimmery gold color. The brand is called Golden and I'm using the color gold, just to let you know. And there's not really any rhyme or reason. I kind of knew that I wanted to stick to a yellowy purple color palette to draw on the colors that are in the comic book pages, and also to draw attention to the Joker's trademark purple color. The good thing about this technique that I use here is that you don't really need to worry about making mistakes, because if you do something you don't like, you can just cover it up. And I do that several times in this video, and even more so in other abstracts that I do. So you just keep sort of layering it on until it feels right to you. Usually I like to just sort of exaggerate or mask or doodle on top of whatever forms are in the comic book. I'm not sure why I stick with the sort of square pattern. For one thing, it is easier to photograph for Instagram, so that's always good. And for another thing, I don't know, I've always had a thing for squares. So many of my paintings are on square wood panels, so I don't know, got a soft spot for the old square. It's hip to be square. Now I'm just adding in a bit of green because the Joker's hair is green, and I sort of developed a weird story that's going on here. I think in the comic book, that yellow jacketed guy is accosting the blonde-haired girl and being like, "Give me that valuable book or you'll get it." And she's like, "Ah, oh no!" But in this piece, I decided to make her shoot green lasers out of her eyes and get the guy, kill him, and the Joker is gonna run away. So that's just where I went with this. I think I'm writing, "Meanwhile, Jane glows green and shoots death rays from her eyes," or something like that. And then the yellow guy's like, "Oh shit, I'm dead, what's she doing to me?" And the Joker's like, "I'm out of here, whoa." I'll show a close-up of what I've written later. It's hard to get all the details from this camera angle and from my sad iPhone camera, which is doing its best, I will say, it's doing its best. But it's just hard to get details, especially with my lighting setup and whatnot, which I do hope to improve in the future, but for now, I've just got to make do with what I've got. Yeah, so you'll see I'm going over some of the purple now with the black. It's just a matter of finding the right balance and whatever textures and colors you like to work with. Completely unrelated, but I usually like to binge watch TV shows or movies or YouTube when I'm painting. And it's gotten to the point where I've watched so many movies on like Netflix and Amazon Prime and HBO that I've watched most of the good ones, or most of the ones where it's like something is happening on screen and I don't need to be watching the whole time. I'm not going to sit down and watch Inception or something while I'm painting. Well, I might, because I've seen that a bunch of times. But you don't want to watch a movie that you have to pay attention to. So I watched London Has Fallen with Gerard Butler playing an American Secret Service dude. And I like dumb action movies like that. I like the pew pew, shoot 'em up and whatnot. They're, you know what's gonna happen, and you know what's happening when there's a bunch of punching noises. You don't really need to look. But anyways, I guess they attack London, spoiler alert, and the fucking Canadian Prime Minister and his wife are the first people to die. They get car bombed. And the guy was supposed to look like Justin Trudeau, I think, but older. So, thanks. Anyways, so then I went and watched the first movie, Olympus Has Fallen. And no Canadians were harmed in that film, so I was a bit happier. I don't know why I watched those movies, but my husband Scott's like, you love the worst movies. And it's kinda true, but Actually, one of my favorite movies, it's kind of really bad, is Wanted with Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy. I really like James McAvoy, he's hilarious. So, I guess it's kind of a guilty pleasure. And Morgan Freeman is in many of those movies. He's awesome. Alright, so here's the close-up, and you can see kind of what I've written and all the scribbly doodles I've drawn over it. There's a lot of different markers, there's a lot of different pens. And yeah, this one was fun. Didn't really know where it would end up, but I'm pretty happy with it. I hope you guys liked watching and listening to me ramble about my bad movie tastes. Anyways, thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye!